Hey there, Hollywood fans. Welcome to this week's show. So as you can see, Hollywood and the LiveX boys have been clicking gears, running around the country, chasing you crazy people out there on the dirt bikes. And by dirt bikes, I do mean dirty bikes, because the rain is still with us. I love it. Sometimes you get a little bit of a moist one, and that's exactly what went down this last weekend. It was GXCC's round number 2 out at Bapsfontein. Now, last year, Bapsfontein blew up. It was a complete dust bowl. This year, complete opposite end of the spectrum. Proper moist, if not wet, but still wild racing, and a race that everyone's going to remember for a very long time. The track held together just, and this is what went down out at Bapsfontein, round number 2 of the GXCCs in 2025.
All this GXCC racing action is proudly brought to you by VW Mastercars Hatfield in association with Vans Racing. It's the second round of the GXCCs and the late rains are still with us. It's going to be an interesting day out at Bapsfontein. Second round of the GXCCs out here at Bapsfontein, and the dust is still not with us. It is beautifully grey, awesome conditions, and the word of the day is moist.
Moist with a dab of dampness. Yeah, no, it's we've had some excellent rain here throughout the time that we worked here. It was never an issue, and then on Thursday evening it came bucketing down. So when we went out yesterday to go and do a recce, there was quite a bit of puddles of water standing everywhere. But hey, so much fun.
Yeah.
Not a single speckle of dust. It was just absolutely fun all the way.
Let's go down to the pits and chat to a couple of the juniors and the quaddies. Little stubby rocket ship off the gate, and you're going to have to have a good one today to survive in this weather.
Yeah, I'm just trying to ride as fast as I can, and yeah.
Have you got any experience in the mud? Because some of the juniors haven't even seen a mud race yet.
No, I've just done one race at Farm Jam, but that's about it with muddy races.
JL, you're the king of the hole shots. This is going to be an important one because you might be able to stay clean. If you're second, you're going to get roosted.
Yeah, it looks pretty muddy. We walked the start, the twists and turns, everything. I think it's going to be a fast one and muddy, that's for sure.
Dex, tell me about the GXCCs. This is round number 2. This is going to be a mudder. What do you got for us?
Now I'm excited. It's going to be a fun one. I see there's a lot of mud there by the start, so I'm looking forward to it.
You walk in, it's quite busy in that section, eh?
Yeah, it's fun. There's a lot of lurkers, but I'm just going to look out for it.
Mud strategy for today? Different goggles, different gloves?
Yeah, I'm just going to change gloves and goggles, but I'm just going to choose my lines wisely.
Jay, good gates and good laps. Round number 1 went well. What do you got for us in round number 2?
I'm feeling great. I'm happy for the day. I'm racing. It's race mode, always. The rain looks like wet. It's going to be a good day today.
For the juniors, not too much wet experience, but do you change anything on your bike coming into a race like this?
Did some mods, put a luck doesn't get wet inside. Took it up, and it's right.
Tell me about the hole shots. That's become key. It's become you and Geer here, the fastest kids off the gate.
Yeah, it's going to be like a one. Get the hole shot, then you're out of the gate.
Geer on an absolute burner, but have you got a mud setup? Because this one is going to be a mudder.
Well, I wasn't expecting this to be mud because I didn't see it was going to rain, and when we went in here, I saw all the water laying here, so I think there's going to be a lot of mud.
You're going to be chatting to Uncle Wayne about strategy, eh?
Yes.
What about the championship? You're a big guy, you're getting good traction on the bike. It seems like on the gate you're the dude.
Yeah, it's me and Jay Eels, and I also see Taking Marahagi. He's also in my class. He moved up from the juniors. So today's going to be a really tough race, but I think I'm going to have a good one.
Rian, your bike is looking gorgeous. Your kit is nice and clean, and that is going to change just now.
Yes, it is. I hope so. No, I'm quite excited. First race didn't go well. Lost the wheel. Wheels are faster now. If it comes off now, I'm stopping racing. Guaranteed.
I saw the rest of the guys. Big changes in the calendar. Half the team, more than half the team are out there racing cars. You're waving the flag for EMD.
Yeah, MSA, we're not going to go into that. They changed the race dates, so everybody is disappointed. You can't be at 2 places at one. Decided to come to the quads, so I'm excited. I'm gonna take my chances.
Jaco, I just found out that this is one of my old buddies' bikes, and that's why you're getting these big hole shots. Man, you're going to need one today, eh?
Yes. Thanks to David, all the life and effort he put into his bikes. I want to say thank you to him. And yes, it's gonna be a rough one, dusty. So hopefully we get a hole shot again.
You have made a name for yourself of getting out of the gate, but what drops you down through the day? Because there's definitely a win there waiting for you.
Yes, fitness is killing me. So hopefully we worked on it, so we will see. Maybe this year, or this race, we will take the win.
Brian, like Ivan just said, it's like taking a step back in time. How many years has it been, bud?
Yeah, look, I last rode end of 2023, so it's been a minute. But yeah, glad to be back. It's smell of fumes and petrol and noise. It's fantastic.
The gate, obviously, you're going to be starting at the back, so you're going to have a busy day.
Yeah, look, I didn't want to come and get involved in anybody's championships that I'm not in, so I've opted to start at the back. And look, there'll be no dust today, so at least it'll be a nice day. I think it's going to be dirty, but yeah, we'll have a good fun day.
Like you say, fitness is going to be an interesting one. But yeah, I wonder if this track's going to hold up, you know?
Yeah, look, fitness is going to be a problem today. Yeah, look, it's muddy, so we will see what it's like. I think if there's mud patches, it's going to get chewed up, but yeah, it's a dirty day today for sure.
Right, great to have you back, brother.
Lekker, mate. Thank you, my friend. Cheers.
Down to the gate, the quads were going to be the dudes to open up on the big track, the little guys opening up the small track. The morning session was going to be interesting. It was still high in the sky as far as the clouds go, and as the flag went up, everyone was wondering what was around turn number 1. For the quaddies going out on the 49.3 kilometer racing loop, a nice dry grassland start, plenty of hook for the guys, but as soon as they came out of the maze, it was going to change big time. Jaco Wolfart, Smallberger and Kutzer, as well as Ruan Muller, were going to be doing the hammer time out front. Small gate on the Q2s with a date clash with one of the regional cross-country car events, meaning it was going to be Rian Dick. He got the whole shot, along with Tinus Kutzer and JJ Baitenbach. 1, 2 and 3, but how would they finish in the order come the end of the day? For the Quad Masters, Steph Bester, great to have him back on the gate this season. Himself and Karamba Jabi, as well as Bernardo Fivas, the class of the field at the moment. Back onto the grasslands before going out into the crazy farmland areas. Quad veterans, Davy Duet becoming a bit of a whole shot machine on the EMD Q-Con Suzuki. Himself at stock standard, Darren Moyle, as well as Tony DeSantos, banging bars. And for the ladies, small gate this time around. Corrine Thiessen, as well as Danielle Esterhazen, going to go see what they could do. For Corrine, it was a new ride as well, getting off the smaller Suzuki and onto the big 700. All the quads were out there. We turn our attention now to the juniors. Going out on the 16.5 kilometer loop, and of course the senior 85s would be the big bangers going out there, laying down the fastest laps of the morning session. Not a great pull off the gate, but eventually popping out and seeing clear air was championship leader Pierre Kutsia and Jay Eels. They are the fast gators at the moment. The junior 85s, the rocket ship that is Jean-Luc van der Westhuizen. He saw clear air and would run and hide. He would have all the lines to pick from. Himself and Declan Richards working well in the morning session. On the Pro 65 gate, two guys jumping out nice and early. That was Kellen van Deventer and Ulrich Sturley, chased down by the 555 of Alexander Nemeth. Nemeth, the points leader, just allowing the race to come to him nice and gradual like. And then the kids that would have a real tough time out there in the swamplands. That was going to be our 50cc's. Jack Paltzer pulled the pin on that one, getting chased down by Blake Kruger and the rest of the Mini Warriors. As the 50cc's left the gate, we turn our attention to Track Talk with Big Vian. Kids are going to have a blast. Last year it was dust bowl racing all year long. This year they're going to figure out how to ride a little bit of damp and moist conditions. Take us through the junior lap.
Yeah, Matt, this terrain typically is faster than what we're used to, but because of the moist and the wetness, it'll bring down the speed. We wanted to make the lap about 18 to 19 kilometers, but there was just a few sections that we had to cut out. Unfortunately, it was too wet. So it brought it down to 16.5 kilometers, which I think is still great. I think we're going to see some good lap times if it dries out and the line starts to form. But they're going to have so much fun. Everything from millie fields to nice sweeping turns. Not a lot of other like forest sections for the kids because we're keeping them inside, and this terrain is Milliefield area.
Not too much forest for the kids to deal with, but plenty of challenging conditions. After a season of racing dust bowls, it was out into the mud. So many of the juniors not making it to the end of lap number 1. Giannis Eckstein was there. Blake Kruger, so good on the championship at the moment. 3rd place still keeps him in the hunt. Jack Peltzer, who pulled the big hole shot, was able to get 2 laps under his belt and finish in the number 2 position. But it was Bernie Blucknote who got the job done. He managed to bag 3 laps of the big course, and just this section here was the undoing of so many riders. Blucknote just good enough to keep the wheels turning and take the win on the 50s. 65cc's didn't fare that much better, even though they had a little bit more power. Only 6 riders managing to get laps under their belts. Mafakati with 1 lap gets a number 6 ride. Rogan Matthews, a tasty rider. 5th place, just 2 laps under his belt. Alexander Nemeth, so good in the early part of the season. Also battled, but good enough to get 4th place. And that still keeps him in the championship hunt. Remember, this is a long championship. Lincoln Daister showing how gnarly the mud was. That right-hand line close to the mealies was absolute peanut butter. Daister still good enough, though, to pick the bike up, get 3 laps done, and finish with a number 3 position. The top 2 gators, Ulrich Sturley and Kellen van Deventer, were the class of the field, with Sturley getting 3 laps under his belt and cementing his number 2 spot coming out of the gate. But he got beaten out on the race by 1 lap and 1 very tasty rider, the rock star that is Kellen van Deventer, the only rider on the 65cc Pro Gate to get 4 laps under his belt and dominate round number 2 of the GXCCs. Up the road, and the Junior 85's always going to be super busy. So much talent on this gate. They fared much better than the smaller wheels and were able to rock and roll their way through. Harvey Hine in a number 8. Rutief Swat took the Yummy up to a number 7. 3 laps under the belt for him. Declan Richards was looking good, but had some problems later on in the day, only managing to get 4 laps under his belt. That gave him a number 6 ride. Tough start to the championship chase for Declan Richards. Dylan Baldock, one of the bigger kids out there, was able to muscle his way through and get 5 laps under his belt and take a number 5 finish. The conditions were gnarly for the kids in the morning. Zack Attack Stubbs, very tasty, strong rider on all the championships this season. 4th place, and he stayed on the lead lap, getting 6 laps under his belt. You had to be real aggressive and very clever with your line choice in the Swamplands. Lawrence Erasmus getting a number 3 spot, his best finish of the season so far. And Juan Agostini is up there for a championship this season. It's going to be a nail-biter for the rest of the 6 rounds of racing after this one. Agostini in 2nd place, but John Luke, the machine, Van der Westhuizen, getting the win and putting over 6 minutes into his closest rival, the little guy with a big heart, hammering the nail and smashing it at round number 2 of the GXCCs. And in the senior 85s, the big kids, the big swingers, throwing down the fast laps in the morning session. Safako in a number 8, Marahi in a number 7. Incredibly enough, a lot of the Lesotho riders fared extremely well in the Swamplands. Obviously, changeable conditions up in the Mountain Kingdom, so they know how to get the best out of themselves and their machines. Nico Malasani and Ulrich Fari were banging bars in the early stages until Fari started to fade back. Eventually, Fari tagging a number 6 ride off the back wheel, and big chunks of time throughout the gates as well. Number 5 spot going to Leseli Matliani, pulling 8 minutes out of Fari. Nico Militsani also good numbers for him. 2 minutes further up the road, tagging at number 4 ride. Definitely suited the bigger kids that were able to muscle and move their weight around a little bit better out there on the course. For the Everest Wealth Yamaha Racing Squad, Roald Potgieter got the job done. 3rd place, that'll improve his chances of climbing onto either 1st, 2nd or 3rd come the end of the season. If you survived this round, you were on a good footing. An incredible change in fortunes after a rough season last year for the gravity racing superstar that is Twane Tiempont. Her standout ride gave her a number 2 spot today, but it was Pierre Kutsia that hammered the nail on the rest of the field. He is the kid to beat once again as he goes 1 for 1 and runs out front in the championship. Kutsia smashed it. Yeah, tell us your story, dude. Another banger, but what a story out there.
Yo, on the first lap I was so stressing because Jay Eels and that other guy I couldn't remember. They were so on my butt the whole time. I couldn't get past them. And then Jay Eels' bike seized and I went past. And since there I never saw nobody.
Any issues on the bike or goggles? Could you see anything out there?
I I changed every single lap my goggles and yeah, I broke my guards off here and everything, but otherwise it was a good race.
JL, tell us a story, dude. That must have been a wild ride.
Yeah, that was crazy. The mud holes out there, and crazy. But it was fast track. I loved it, but the mud was just too much, way too much.
But the win tells a story, eh? You got the job done.
Yeah, I'm just very glad I got the win. Never stopped, just kept going. Yeah, I'm very glad of myself.
Let's get a confirmation of the results then. Here, Kutsia goes 1 for 1 at the early part of the season, taking the win. Standout ride for Gravity Racing's Tien Pont in the number 2 spot, ahead of Potkeda, Malitsani and Matliani. In the Junior 85s, the machine, John-Luc van der Westhuizen, got the whole shot and ran clean air all day to put the hurt on Agostini, Erasmus, Stubbs, Baldock, Richards, Swart and Hein. In the 65 pros, Kellen van Deventer light years ahead of the rest of the field on that day, beating out on Sturley, Deister, Nemeth, Matthews, Mafakati, Nell, and Malataliana, rounding out our top 8. And then on the 50cc's, they had a tough day in the saddle. Blicknote, though, fared the best, beating out on Peltzer and Kruger. That's going to be the championship dice for the rest of the season. Eckstein, De Wet, and Blum taking us to the rest of the finishers. That's the juniors and the small track done with. Let's chat to Vian about the big course and the quads. The big loop, it's quite a big one, and the quads are going to be the guys that open it up. The quads are going to be coming home dirty. Talk us through the big loop. So start out, tell us how big it is.
Well, we wanted to get to that 50k mark. We're just short of it, 49.3, which is also good in this conditions. I don't know if the top guys are going to be able to do 5 laps. If they do, I'll be surprised. But they've got everything from fast sections, flowing sections, muddy sections, some forest sections, cut grass sections. And as soon as you think, this is getting along straight or whatever, then we take them into the bush and drop the speed a bit and get them to slow down a bit.
Coming out of Bapsfontein, the quads would all have one heck of a story to tell. Climbing the ladders, starting things out with the ladies. Just 2 ladies doing the job out there, but they both were good enough to bring home 3 laps. Amazing riding coming in out of Meg's Racings. Danielle Esterhuizen, she got a good number 3 laps under her belt, finishing in the number 2 position. She really did very, very well on a relatively stock standard machine, smashing her way through all the mud bogs. It was Queen Karine, though, that got the cheese. She started to set herself up as the top lady out there, testing a new machine as well, moving out of the smaller vehicles and into the big 700, just showing us how gnarly the conditions were out there. Even the roll-off goggles weren't helping her out, but she was still good enough to get it to the finish. In the quad veterans, stock standard Darren Moyle only got 1 lap under his belt until Bapsfontein cost him the retirement. Darby De Wet, the man that came out of the gate the strongest though, got himself into a number 2 spot on the QCon EMD machine, 3 laps under his belt, and an arduous 3 hours and 10 minutes in the saddle, surviving the conditions out at Bapsfontein. Remember, we haven't raced in mud for over 2 seasons now. Tony DeSantos, the DeSanti were out there in force once again, and Tony was on the top step. Tony starting to become a key player. DeSantos and De Wet, that's the championship from here on out. This time, DeSantos walked away with the job done. In the Quad Masters, Roxy DeSantos this time around, 1 lap under his belt. Same situation for Steph Bester. Had to bow out after 1 lap of racing as well, both on the big 700s, swamping the bikes out there before having to retire. Championship runner, Bernardo Fivas, he got a good run out of the gate, stayed with the lead bunch, and brought it home in 3rd place after 3 hours and 25 minutes in the saddle. One of the standout rides though, 2nd place on the day, going to Karamba Jabi. Rode most of the day without goggles. He's definitely going to need some eye drops for the rest of the week to figure things out, but he was narrowly off the back wheel of eventual race winner Fernando DeSantos. Those two keeping an eye on each other in the early laps. And then the final lap, it was all about Fernando, pulling around about a 7-minute gap out of Jarby. It's an interesting championship that's starting to develop in the Quad Masters. Santos puts his name at the top of the charts as we head to round number 3. And then on to the big bangers in the Q2s. Jan Venter had to bow out after just one lap of racing, leaving the 1s, 2s and 3s to the men running the numbers in the championship. Great feedback coming in from the guys running in the pro categories as well, though. No complaints about rocks or anything like that. Just the gnarly mud conditions were the big problems. But where it wasn't muddy, it was fast and absolutely perfect around the mealie fields. JJ Buitenweg getting a number 3 spot. Tinus Kutzer, even with a puncher, able to survive the day and get second place in the championship. But you need to have a perfect day to run the numbers and take the win at a GXCCs, and that's exactly what Rian Dick had. Perfect run of form, great setup on his machine, racing out of the QCon EMD squad. 4 laps under his belt, and a massive over 12-minute winning margin over the rest of the racing pack. Rian Dick will have been chuffed to see clear air all day long. In the Q1s, interesting situation where we saw a lot of the Q1s fall by the wayside, and big swingers as well. Apollo De Santos and Sean Kutzer only getting 1 lap under their belt. Ruan Kutzer able to smash a number 5 finish with 3 laps, and then his stablemate coming out of the Megs Racing squad, Ron Miller, getting a job done into a number 4 spot. The Honda boys running good numbers. So good out of the gate. A former championship winning quad, built and prepped by David Stratum, Jaco Wolfart, the king of the hole shots at the moment, but not the king of the mud. 3rd place on the day, 3 laps under his belt, but still in good shape for the championship. This time it was brother Tion Wolfart that got his nose ahead on the big KTM. 4 laps under his belt and not too far off the win. It was less than 30 seconds come the end of the day racing in the morning session. Tion Wolfart 2nd place, and the closest he has come to the big win on the top step of the GXCCs. This season though, as well as last season, the man that is running fast and consistent at every single event, a former age group category racer, and now it's Francois Smallberger, Big Burger, that's getting it done. He takes another win and continues to lead the championship.
Listen, Brian, whatever you do, don't give me a hug, please.
No, come on, mate. Come on, give us a hug. Come on, be a nice hug.
Tell me about the day, man.
Sure. I haven't been back, and I thought it was going to be a baptism of fire, but it turned out just to be a baptism. Man, it's muddy out there. It's a dirty day today. A dirty day.
Give us a breakdown of the track, because it was a good layout, wasn't it? It was just a couple of those bogs.
Yeah, look, it was fairly nice. Had it been dry, I think it would have been a different game. But yeah, those mud bogs at the end just got worse and worse and worse. And you're going, am I going to get through? Am I not? But yeah, man, it's dirty out there.
I know you had some problems in the past, and incredibly enough, the hardest conditions, and your quad was perfect today.
Yeah, it ran like a dream. Gideon built it end of last year, and it ran like an absolute dream today. Didn't miss a beat. I drowned it once or twice, and it still kind of spluttered and kept going. So I had a puncture on lap 2, which slowed me down a bit. Came in quick part tyre change thanks to the guys Roxy and them, and went out and good. I want to say a clean run, but yeah.
Brother, you've been racing quads for many years. Tell me how that track matches up. That was a wild day.
That was a wild day, and the mud, I just can't handle it. But yeah, we got through. Put on bigger tyres just to get through the mud, and we got through.
Tell me about the layout of the track, because I know if this was going to be a dry race, that would have been super quick.
It would have been way too fast, and I think maybe some people would have got hurt. This was actually quite nice. I mean, a little bit of mud, certain sections was very deep, but that's fine. We got through, and that's it.
Great feedback from our quaddies. Here's the confirmation of the results coming out of the Q1s. Smallberger runs off the front in the championship, ahead of the Wolfart bros, Muller, the Kotzer bros, and De Santos. In the Q2s, Rian Dick standout ride, taking the big one. Fantastic form coming out of Dick at round number 2, ahead of Kotzer, Buitenweg, and Venter. In the Quad Masters, Fernando De Santos, Karamba Jarby standout ride, taking the 2nd place. Vivas, Bester, and De Santos. quad veterans. Tony DeSantos, great catch-up and good feedback from Captain Tony, beating out on Devet. And in the ladies, Queen Karine continues to dominate in the 2025 season ahead of Esterhazen. That was the morning session for the quads and the juniors. Before we go into the motorcycles for the afternoon, let's catch up with VW Mastercars and their latest deal called Drive Now, Pay Later. Buy any Mastercars demo or pre-owned Polo and only start paying your first installment in July 2025. Why wait? Your Polo is ready to roll. Thanks once again to our friends at VW Mastercars Hatfield. Now for the afternoon, as you can see, massive entries coming in for the big bikers. They'll have seen the quads in the morning session and they'll be nervous. We go down and chat to the faces.
It's back-to-back racing, eh? It just seems like it's flat out this season.
Yeah, no, every weekend there's something new, something more fun, something keeping us going.
A little bit of mud last weekend at the FJs, so, well, this is a lot of mud. That's going to be a different story.
Yeah, and I'm looking at all the juniors and the quads come back. It's a bit, it doesn't look too great, but it's going to be fun. It's going to be a mud bath out there.
Just remember when you were a kid, jumping in puddles is cool.
Yeah, definitely going to go have some fun in there.
Murray, man, great to see you figuring things out. A tough transition from the 85 to the big wheels, but seems like you got it right now.
Yeah, it's going good. We're on Yamaha this year. It's going good so far. Got a win at the first KZN race. I'm feeling very smooth and good on the bike.
It's got to be the gate though. I mean, a lot of guys moved up, not with you, but also the year after you. So there's a lot of talent on that 125ers.
Yeah, it's a big gate. It's the biggest gate in the field, 19 riders. But the key is just going to be getting a good start, getting a good gate pick, and getting out there in front.
Stubby, round one was your first GXCC. Now you're going to have a baptism of fire. Round two, it's a mudder.
Yeah, I mean, from what I've seen, the quads, the little bikes, they're absolutely covered in mud.
Tell me about the setup on the bike as well, because a lot of guys do change the setup going into mud races like this. Your side?
I'm just keeping a stock standard. That's all.
Give me some feedback from round number one. Your first experience of the GXCC for the people out there. As a new guy coming in, what was your flavour?
Literally everything. I just loved the whole race. That's why I'm back here.
Brother, I meant to catch you guys up at round number one because you've now become the factory superstars on the Hondas. Tell me how round one went and how you're feeling about today.
Ronde 1 was maar 'n bietjie moeiliker geweest. Baie 'n bietjie probleme gegee. Maar ons kom maar hierdie tweede ronde uit en ons kyk wat kan ons maak.
First one dry, second one wet. Change of the setup on the bikes?
Nee, ons het hom gehou soos wat hy was. Ons het maar net 'n bietjie suspension gestel. Dis maar basies dit wat ons gedoen het.
What does it feel like to be the big red at the moment? Obviously Harry ran the team last year and now you guys at Brits, you've picked it up.
Ja nee, is lekker. Ons sien uit om Honda weer bo uit te kry. So ons gaan maar net ons bes gee en kyk of ons dit kan doen.
Francois, you know I call you Captain Consistency, but today that's going to be your strength because you can't make mistakes today.
I'm prone to get stuck in mud, so I'm going to leave that part out of it. I'm here today. I'm quite fit. I lost a bit of weight. I'm not as fast as Quibus and Warwick, and the guys are very fast, so I'll see what I can do today. The rain actually, this suits us. This suits us. So there's no dust. We'll do it.
Big Chris, round number one on the 500, round number two on the 350. Tell me about the story.
Yeah, no, I've worked on the riding skills a bit. Only to realize now, after all those years, the 500 is too much. I'm too thin still. I need to pick up a couple of weights. So definitely, I think the same bike, same setup there. The only thing different, smaller engine. So I definitely feel for starting this way, I'm actually, I think the 350 is more handleable, more manageable. So I think we'll manage it. So let's see.
On social media, I saw the other week you went out to Legends. You didn't plan it, but you were training in the mud, so you might have an upper hand today.
Yeah, no, that was by surprise. I mean, we went there with slip and sliding. It wasn't training. We were like ice skating there, so it was. But yeah, I think that's going to help a lot, especially for today. And you can see the quads here; they are not so clean. so thanks for the roll-offs also. So that's going to work.
Brother, I can't say anything went wrong at round number one, so round number two, lather, rinse, repeat, eh?
Yeah, I hope so. It's wet. Last year was fast, this year's wet, so we'll see how it goes. But I think it should be fun, less dust, especially putting off in the classes a few rows back.
You don't seem to mind the mud, and obviously you've been racing all these years, so you can go back into your bag of tricks and figure it out, eh?
Yeah, definitely. There's something back in the storage there I could use today, so hopefully everything will go well. And just a big thank you to all the sponsors for helping us out this year. Without them, this wouldn't be possible.
Brother, not a bad start at round number 1, but I know you were hoping for more. What do you got today?
Yeah, round 1 was tough, but I'm happy with where I am. And yeah, today is going to be a muddy one, but it's better than dust, and I think we're going to have a jolt out there.
Tell me about the gates. I mean, GXCCs this year, they kind of feel like a mini national championship, don't they?
Yeah, it does. It do feel like a mini national championship, but the gate is going to be tight, and I think it's going to get more tight throughout the year.
Tie banger round number 1, and mud, it's going to be wild today.
Yeah, I think I'm just happy the dust is down. Last year, if we remember, this one was super dusty.
Harder, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, last year it was rough. So I think, yeah, it's going to be about getting the bike to the end of the race today. But challenge, same for everyone. So I'm excited to get out there.
I know you got some little sneaky tricks out there. Go on, I won't tell anyone else. What have you done to the bike to get it ready for the mud?
Well, the main thing is we've got to make sure the mud doesn't stick. So you'll see if you look closely, there's some foam in some places. And I like to carry a rag with me in my pants, stuffed away for when you fall in the mud, get the gloves clean. Some old tricks from motocross.
Big Ben, banger race at round number 1, but totally different scenario today. What have you got for us in the mud, man?
Yeah, I think we're going to be out for a lacquer day. We're going to have a wet and wild one. So yeah, lacquer slippery track, but I think the 350 will do its job, and yeah, it's enough to get through the mud and it's enough to hang cable. So yeah, I think we're going to be in for a big one.
You seem like in great shape. You just got a big smile on your face this year, eh?
All the way. Yeah, we moved up to pro this year, running with the big dogs this time. So yeah, I think between me and Zander and the Stoffel, the guys, we've always been chasing each other in the OR2 Pro Amps. So now we're in the big bangers, and yeah, we're in for a lacquer day.
Peter, exceptional ride at round number 1, and you got to be buzzing coming into this one.
Yeah, didn't feel that exceptional. Suckled with a few stuff, but yeah, we're back. Let's make this one count.
Feels weird to not have raced a national yet, but of course with the weather, the guys had to move it out. So we've gone GXCC, big gap, GXCC.
Yeah, it felt like the last time we raced was last year with this big gap. So yeah, I think the national is also going to be lacquer. If I check this rain, it doesn't look like it's stopping anytime soon. So yeah, looks like we're in for a few mudders.
Now today, is it a 250 track, a 350 track, or a 450 track, or anyone's bet?
I think it's anyone's bet. Yeah, anything can go flat out through mud. So let's see. I think it's anyone. The guy who's gonna hold it the longest, he's gonna come out on top.
Maddie looking super comfortable this year. Mud race, it's gonna be gnarly today.
Yeah, I think today is going to be fun. Last year Bapsfontein was a dust ball, so I think the mud this year is going to be a lot better than the dust. Can actually see and hold it wide open in some sections. So yeah, I'm looking forward today. Holding in 6th gear, and yeah, looking for a good day.
Like we do in F1, when it rains, it's a leveler. I mean, the little bikes might be able to come through today.
Yeah, I think the 250s, those guys, they fast still in that class. So, but I think today's going to be quite a fast track. So I think the 450s and 350s will still have the gears on them. But we'll see how the day goes.
Yo, Rockstar, the bikes are looking gorgeous, and that's the last time they're going to look that good for a while, eh?
Yeah, no, I see from looking at the quads when they came in, it's going to be a muddy one. I obviously didn't race Fochville last year, so I'm actually quite excited. I haven't had a mud race in I think a couple of years, maybe last at KZN. So yeah, I'm actually quite excited. It's, as you say, it's going to be a muddy. So yeah, enjoying the bike while it's still clean.
I was going to say, but you're looking super comfy on the big banger, hey?
Yeah, no, I'm really comfy on the 450. It suits my riding style. Yeah, hopefully going out there today and get comfy on the bike as well. The training, yeah, hopefully that pays off. The riding and obviously I've gone cycling a bit at Cape Town, so yeah, hopefully that fitness will pay off today.
On a gate like this, do you want to be first out and going first into the mud, or do you want to watch someone else make a hash of it?
No, I think I'd want to be first in. Obviously, getting roosted by the other oaks, it's not going to be on the cards. Well, hopefully, that's not ideal. So, want to keep the goggles fresh and yeah, go out first. So, but yeah, I mean, there's some big bangers in the class in OR1. So yeah, we'll see how the day unfolds.
Johnny B, here we go once again, a mudder, and you're looking for an improvement from round number 1.
Yeah, round number 1 went to plan. I got my podium, so I'm happy with that, and try and improve on that this weekend. I think the mud's going to be bad, but we'll take it as it goes.
Strange scenario, hey? We haven't seen mud for so long, so no one can remember how to set up their bikes.
Yeah, I can't remember. Well, the last round of last year was wet, so now it looks like a wet year this year. And yeah, should have brought a jet ski.
Kieran getting the bike prepped, because today is a mudder.
Yeah, it is going to be a little bit muddy, but it's nice to have something different. To be so used to, I'm so used to dust in cross country. Maybe I don't know how to ride the mud, but no, I think it should be good. By the bikes that are coming past, quads look quite muddy, but it's going to be cool. I'm looking forward to it.
Tell me about the body. Long fix, eh?
Yeah, I've been riding actually a little bit of motocross this year. I think I was saying to my wife that I've ridden more this year than I have since I started riding cross country. So hopefully we do a bit better this year and we're a bit more consistent. But yeah, looking forward to it. I heard it's fast out here. So yeah, we for some fun, and obviously the national coming up in a couple of weeks' time. I think, well, hopefully it's similar terrain, but obviously the conditions might be completely different. But at least you know what you're kind of dealing with, and that helps.
Matty, great debut last round, and it seems like a long time ago. Now you get to see what you can do out there in the field, chasing these guys in the mud.
Yeah, I think today's going to be a bit of a wet one, but yeah, looking forward to it. It's it should be a good day. We've done our work, we prepared, so bike feels great. Team, everyone's ready, so yeah, looking forward to it. It's going to be a tough day, but we look forward to the tough days.
A little bit of mud at the end of last season, but besides that, we haven't seen mud for years, man.
Yeah, I mean, the last mud race I did was a motocross race a couple of weeks ago, so that might come into this weekend. But yeah, it's been a while since I've ridden off-roads with the mud and all that, like you say, last year. So yeah, I think it's gonna be a good day. We just got to keep our head, not make mistakes, and try to stay as dry and as clean as possible.
I hate calling you a motocross guy. It'll go away after a while, but I know the motocross guys have a lot of mud tricks. You wheel them out?
Yeah, for sure. I enjoy riding in the mud. I find it enjoyable, and I think if you can put your skills to use, you can make up a lot of time. So I'm looking forward to today. I'm looking forward to getting a good start, being out there and just putting ourselves in a good position for the first lap. I think if we can be top 2 and just kind of in the fight, I think today we're going to do about 5 laps. So yeah, it's gonna be a long day, but it's gonna be a good day. So looking forward to it.
Devastator, we have missed you at the GXCCs, dude. How are you gonna keep this thing in a straight line with all this mud?
Matt, I missed GXCC a long time ago. So I talked to my family. I said, let's go do some GXCC again. Bought the 450. So I'm gonna be riding in the OR1 Pro class with the big bangers.
Scotty H, it's been a few years. Here comes the mud.
Yeah, I haven't ridden a mud apart from back home in Zambia, so I think we're in for a treat today, which is really cool. And yeah, I think we're going to be in for a couple surprises here and there because of all the water and the rain that we've had. But ultimately, I think it's going to be an absolute jaw.
Last year, this was just dust bowl powder racing, so I'm stoked to see it like this.
Yeah, no, it's really cool to come to races where you get to race something completely different. And yeah, considering last year it was quite dusty here. And yeah, I think we're going to be in for a treat. And yeah, I know the GXCC organizers always put together phenomenal tracks and stuff. And I know Vian did mention in his pre-race report that it's going to be a little bit away from the flays and stuff because of all the water. But I think that's going to be cool. I think it's going to bring some aspect of true speed from that, but obviously depending on the standing water, we'll see what happens. But yeah, can't give it up enough to Uncle Kev for bringing me out here, and yeah, for another GXCC, and yeah, let's go have some fun.
Let's take him to the line. Everyone knew what they had to do. It's not dust bowl racing, but you do not want to be getting a face full of roost, especially off a big 450. Flag goes high. Everyone watching championship leader Scotty H on the factory KTM. Flag drop. Scotty was good off the gate, but he is being matched this season. Matty Milan on the Everest Yamaha, looking so good. He got his nose ahead and would lead out onto the trails. Tailed by Scotty H and Kieran Fitzgerald. In the OR2 Pros, Peter Karam, a rocket ship off the line this season. Himself and Matty Wilson, the class of the field. And watch out, because we've got a Yami coming in hot now. Xander King on the Blue Crew. Linex Yamaha going out of the gate in 3rd place. OR3 Pros, Cobus Bester on a bit of a burner this season. Himself and Tyron Beverly. Beverly once again a good gate on the Yami. Derek Karam was there, as well as Cam Becker. The 250 Wild Kids going at it. And then for our seniors, Hugh Levy on the Moto Klerksdorp 450 Honda. Got his nose ahead of some big swingers. Carl DeToy was there, Dion DeToy, Jean Vulcan, and Kochi looking to climb up the ladder. Closing in, tagged the back wheel of King Carl and went down hard. For the Masters, Peter Hall, absolutely unstoppable on the season so far. Got squeezed out a little bit early on by Warwick van Schalkwyk, but Hall would be able to get back and make the pass nice and early. For the high school 125s, an absolutely enormous field this season where Franco Ferri found his mojo once again on the UB Leisure KTM to beat out on Drickers van der Merwe, and the Everest Yamaha boys were in close attendance. For the OR4 gate, Jake the Snake on the Bapsfontein Kawasaki, trying to nail down this championship this season. On the gate though, Ben van Skalkwyk, absolutely classy on the throttle, as well as Chris Harmser Jr. starting to find his groove on this gate. For the veteran category, Jeremy Smith absolutely decimated the field off the gate, leaving Marty Poole and Dick Bessinger in his wake. And then into our Pro-Am category riders, Xander Myberg, good off the numbers, as well as Yuka Hall. But watch out, because Smallberger looked like he was set up nicely to recover from his problems at round number 1. He gated in a number 3 spot. OR2 Pro-Ams, Dwayne Leslie, looking like a tasty rider this season. Himself and Nathan Godrich banging bars nice and early on, as well as the amazing Jaco Nordia, the runner-up for last season's championship in the OR2 Pro-Ams. OR3 Pro-Ams, interesting situation where once again we see Jason Leslie getting the job done. Himself and Jerome Stubbs, the class of the field, they would run the numbers, leaving the rest in their wake. And for the senior Pro-Ams, big Chris Harmser, the main man from VW Mastercars Hatfield, got the job done. Himself and Richard Hine banging bars, as well as Ryan Smith rolling out on a freshy 500. For the ladies' gate, huge numbers starting to come in here as well. Gabby Fotheringham gets the cheese and runs the numbers. Herself and Twane Tiempont coming off her second place ride in the morning and gated in the top 2. Bianca Edwards and Megan Duplessis doing the chase down. With all the bikes out of the gates, once again we chat to Vian about what was to come. For the afternoon race, with the track nicely opened by the bikes, we're going to see all the big bangers on the gate. And we've got some good numbers here today as well. So the good story about GXCCs in 2025 is consistently big entries.
Yeah, we hope that it can grow even more. This helps that it's a closer race to Gauteng area. We ended up on, I think, 257 entries, which is not bad. We would like to see more. Unfortunately, we've lost quite a few of the quad riders where they're taking part in the car race that's also taking place this weekend. So yeah, we've lost a good 10 riders from a quad side because of that. But other than that, we're happy with the numbers.
On the Motorbike Championship, it's going to be an interesting one as well, because in these changeable conditions, we're not sure if this is a 450, 350 or 250 overall track. Your thoughts, V?
You know what, I'm always on my 350 and I think that's the best thing since sliced bread. But because of the muddy sections, I do believe that horsepower is not going to really make a difference here. If you get on the gas too hard, you're going to lose traction and brake traction. However, there will be sections where that absolutely is just going to form nice ruts and it's going to get really grippy and sticky out there. So yeah, I don't know. We're going to have to see, but I think 350 is still the weapon of choice.
With all the riders out on the course, let's go and climb the ladders. We'll start things out with the ladies and the Pro-Am categories. For the ladies, so cool to see so many incredible riders out there, but they did battle in the conditions. Only one lap under the belt for Bianca Proud-Jones. She was best of the rest in 4th, with Chandra Roos, Linda Muir and Janice Muir down in the minor placings. Up a little bit higher though, Gabby Fotheringham. Incredible ride for her in 3rd place. Standout ride for Gravity Racing's Twane Tiempont though. 2nd in the morning session and 2nd in the afternoon. She is the new Iron Woman of the GXCCs. And Bianca Edwards very narrowly beating out on Twane. Twane looked like she had this one wrapped up in a bow, and on the last lap in the final kilometers, B came through on the Bikers Warehouse machine, but a standout ride for Twane. In the Senior Pro-Ams, also a gate that is starting to grow every single season. Dean Woodup getting the job done in a number 8, with Abram Kurabali in a number 7. They got 1 lap and 2 laps under their belts. Chris Kruger on the Bikers Warehouse machine. Good run of form for him, actually. He was fired up in the mud, getting a number 6 ride going, with Hendrik Buerter not too far up the road from him in a number 5. But you started to see the gaps wide open. No one was really on each other's wheels out there as the race started to develop. Hendrik Buerter in a number 5, and then Ryan Smith riding out of UB Leisure on the Big 5 Honey, coming back into GXCC racing. 4th place for him and 3 laps under his belt. He'll have been pretty happy with that one. Up the road, the big swingers in the top 3, the men that are chasing down the championship for VW Mastercars. Chris Harmser Sr. parking the 500 and getting back on the 350, starting to get comfortable on his machine. Narrowly missed out on second place though. Peter Peltzer gated a little bit better on lap number 1 and found his groove, as well as Richard Hine. Hine though on a 2:52. That's the racing time. Peltzer about 4 minutes off his back wheel, and Harmser just less than a minute off them. So the 1, 2s and 3s are starting to heat up in the championship. For the OR4s, the Pro-Am feeder gate, a lot of the guys doing double duties coming out of the Pro 85s and in the afternoon session. Deister, that's Bryson, was a number 6, with Francois Rousseau in a number 5, and Chris Harmser Jr. really starting to gel well with that 230. Ben van Schalkwijk, a rocket ship off the gate, another rider starting to find his groove. Still a young, small dude, but very, very fast. Third place for Van Schalkwijk. He can be happy with that, putting 3 laps under his belt. Alexander Dillman, also 3 laps under his belt with the number 2 ride, narrowly beating out on Van Schalkwijk. Less than 20 seconds between those two guys, but it was Jake the Snake, the man with the most experience on this gate, and he knows his bike extremely well. The Pepsi Plastics Kawasaki kid looks like he is eyeing up this championship this season. In the OR3 Pro-Ams, the 250cc machine riders, interesting situation where we start to see a lot of new names breaking their way inside of the top 5. Christian van der Merwe in a number 8, Gordon Skoomby for a number 7, 3 laps under their belt, and then the guys that were getting on the big notes, getting a good points haul coming out of this event. Eric Kurtz got a 6th place ride, the perfect 3 hours in the saddle for him, with 3 laps under his belt, and Henko Prinsloo, good buds with the Stratum brothers and riding on the C9 machine. He did a very good job of work with those little legs to get himself up there to a number 5 finish. 2 hours 51 in the seat for him. Not too far off the back wheel, around about 5 minutes up the road. 4th place going to Hansi van der Berg. Hansi, definitely a championship player. You'll never find him too far out of the top 3 at every single round of the championship. Another one of the Pepsi Plastics Kawa boys, Jaden Boyce, couple of seasons getting used to this format as well, and he looks like he may be able to run some good numbers this season. His best ride of the tour so far, 3rd place for him. Himself and Richard Webster were all over each other in the early laps until eventually Webster was able to pull out a 3.5 minute gap lead over Boise. So that was Webster cemented in 2nd place. And then Janko van Niekerk, the only rider on the OR3 Pro-Am gate to get the job done and bring home a 4-lapper racing format, taking the outright win on the category. OR2 Pro-Ams, the 350cc machine riders, or the 250cc smokers. Nathan Godrich going for the smoker this season, still trying to find his groove. A rider that we know can definitely run inside the top 5. This time out though, clearly some issues. Only 2 laps under his belt. Himself and Timothy Black were together in the early stages, and Black went on for an incredible finish. But Godrich down in number 8. Jean-Dre van der Merwe in 7th, and Ruben Stratum. 1 or 2 little fallovers throughout the day, 6th place, and he'll have to rebound nicely because he is definitely one of the riders trying to go for the championship this season. Russell Van Gool, the big guy, super solid and consistent, finishes in the top 6 at every single round, and this one will be a deciding factor as well, because an event like this has a few standout riders that will start to climb the ladder. Van Gool will be one of those. Rian Prinsloo on the low-foul power sport machine gets himself up there to a number 4 ride, bringing his wealth of experience to the 4, and he got 3 laps under his belt. Blaine Ward, starting to see a new name come forward. Wardy, very comfortable in the mud for sure. Love these races. You always find the mud men, the mud riders who gel perfectly with the conditions and don't get phased by a little bit of splatter on the goggles. Wardy, 3rd place, best ride for him. Timothy Black, best ride we've seen out of him in the last couple of seasons. So great to have Timothy Black back on board in the Alfie Cox racing machine, getting it done in 2nd place. And the man that ran 2nd in last year's championship, narrowly missing out on the big number 1 plate. This season though, Jaco Nordia takes the win, and that will boost him high up in the rankings now. And the big bangers in the OR1 Pro-Ams, Graham Engelbrecht gets it up the road in a number 8 ride. The Honda rider doing a nice job of work there. Joshua Lowe, 3 laps under his belt as well, taking a number 7 ride. And then the big swingers that were inside the top 6 actually were very close to each other in certain factors. Gian Hall, great out of the gate, super aggressive riding style. He said the bike was coughing and spluttering towards the end of the race, but still got 3 laps under his belt and a racing time of 2 hours 52. Round about 3.5 minutes up the road from him was Xander Myberg. Myberg had a great gate in the morning session, but just faded backwards as the conditions started to worsen out there on the course. Ben Wessels, definitely a man that you can put a couple of notes on, finishing in the top 3 for the championship. Wessels, 4th place, keeps his blade nice and sharp, with Damian Breitenbach having one of his best rides of the season and the last couple of seasons, getting it onto the box. The Brits Honda Racing Pro, 3rd place. He'll be super happy with that one. And the man that would have a massive smile on his face at the end of this race was the quarter pounder. Francois Smallberger Jr., 2nd place, and improves his chances of a championship challenge once again. Yuka Hall, though, absolutely dominated this race, putting the hammer down and beating his closest rival by just over 1.5 minutes. Yuka Hall sees the checkers and closes out the Pro-Am category.
Beautiful smile, great face pack. I love the makeup.
Ew, no. The track definitely gave me a makeover. I'm definitely a new person now. It was tough.
Tell me about that race, because you had to fight for that one. You were chasing this kid down.
Ew, the first 2 laps were right behind her the whole way, and then finally the 3rd lap I caught her, but I had to push it just to stay in front of her. But got stuck in the mud a couple times, but I've made it, so it's good.
Fair play, and you're looking good in the championship as well. This has got to feel cool.
Oh no, my bike's definitely helping me. It's keeping me there. Thanks to Bike as well for actually helping me be here, and no, it's looking good so far.
Twane, what clicked? Because you are so good on the little bike. You get on the big bike and you're a beast.
Yeah, it was a tough one. The mud was really, really, really rough. I fell a little bit, but I got up and went back on riding. I was running for 2 laps. I was first, then Bianca catched me because I fell in the mud and got stuck a little bit, but I got up and give it gas.
What a day. I mean, racing in the morning, racing in the afternoon in some of the toughest conditions. Your training program must be insane right now.
Yes, I'm doing hockey at the school. I'm training in the gym a bit, and on weekends I get on my bike and train until I get back to school. I'm also busy with hockey again and in the gym, and yeah.
What does this result do for your confidence? You must be buzzed.
I'm really, really, really proud of myself. Compared to last year, I did not do so good, but I'm really proud. This one I'm coming for the championship.
Let's confirm the results coming out of the Pro-Am categories. Yuka Hall beats it out on the quarter pounder. Smallberger in good shape in 2nd place. Breitenbach on the Honda, solid ride in 3rd, ahead of Wessels and Myberg. In the OR2 Pro-Ams, Jaco Nordia finally tastes victory in 2025, beating out on Timmy Black. Standout ride for Timbo and Wardy. Prinsloo in 4th place, and Van Gool taking us to a number 5. OR3 Pro-Ams, Janko van Niekerk beating out on Richard Webster. Jaden Boyce, good ride for him in 3rd place, ahead of Vanderberg and Prinsloo, with Kurtz in a number 6 ride. For the OR4s, Jake the Snake starting to become a strong bet for the championship as he wins out round number 2, ahead of Dillman and Van Skalkwyk, with Chris Homser Jr. in a solid number 4 spot. And for the senior Pro-Ams, Richard Hine, once again the dude to beat. Peltzer in 2nd place, and Chris Homser on a number 3 spot, beating out on Smitty and Buerta. And for our ladies, Bianca Edwards narrowly getting the win at round number 2, beating out on a standout performance for Gravity Racing's Twane Tiempont. Fotheringham in 3rd place, ahead of Prout Jones. Stand by as we start to climb the ladder now. Next up will be our age group category races. The Pro Veterans giving us Johan Fourie 1 lap under his belt before he had issues on the course. Mark Nell 2 laps under his belt, giving him a number 5 ride. Marty Poole, who went out of the gate on the Shimwells Yamaha, the Big Banger 450, gated in 2nd place, eventually dropping down to 4th spot with 3 laps under his belt. Dick Bessinger fared a little bit better. He's starting to look good for a top 3 in the championship. 3rd place for the VW Mastercars Hatfield Pro rider. The top 2 riders were going back and forth. Jeremy Smith, an incredible gate. 1 or 2 little fallovers that allowed Lars Brandlin to see some clear air every now and again. But once Smitty was back up and trucking, he was able to pull the pin, get the job done, and make those passes and pull big time out of the rest of the competitors. Brandlin, like I said, clear air for a short amount of time, but 2nd place come the end of play. And with 3 laps under his belt and 2 hours 42 in the saddle, Brandlin cemented his 2nd place ride. But it was Jeremy Smith who was the class of the field. The last 2 laps belonged to him, and he ran the big numbers. For the Masters category, great to have Francois Bosch back racing with us. 2 laps under his belt. He'll be fairly happy with his day at the office. Stephen Kutzer in a number 7 spot with 3 laps under his belt. And then some familiar names coming back into GXCC racing. Bert Smith of Bert Smith Racing and all of the lads came back banging out here at Bapsfontein. Francois Swanepoel, captain consistency, 5th place. He'll been hoping for more than that, but all he wanted to do was survive the day and get some points on his notch going forward into the rest of the championship tour. Conrad Sieber, probably one of his best rides on the Honda in the last couple of seasons, gets himself into a number 4 spot and kept his nose clean throughout the rest of the racing day. The Everest Wells Racing Yamaha man, Warwick van Skalkwyk, good off the gate, but had some problems late on. Definitely faded backwards towards the end of the day, but still, 3rd spot will keep him in the championship challenge. JJ Rousseau, standout ride on the Masters category, definitely a mud pro coming into the Bapsfontein event. Hammered the nail on the rest of the field, and there was only one man better. Peter Hull, sitting and ripping on his Pepsi Plastics Kawasaki, rode this wet lap like it was bone dry, putting 1 lap into the rest of the competitors. Hull, unstoppable this season on the Masters Championship. In the senior pros, Sean Bordenhorst on the Linux Yamaha Blue Crew Racing Yamaha, 9th place for him. He did not gel with the conditions, and he'll have been frustrated to not see the top 6. Fergie Fergal McAdam on the Bikers Warehouse Husqvarna also battled to find his groove in these tough conditions. 7th place for him. Boris Smith, slightly better, getting himself up into 6th place, and the top 6 senior pros stayed on the lead lap of 4 laps under their belt. Boris Smith cementing a number 6 ride. Nicholas Morgan starting to look extremely strong this season, racing on a couple of tours, keeping his skills nice and sharp. He'll be happy with that number. Up the road from him was King Carl, VW Mastercars Hatfield rider, trying to chase down a senior pro championship this season. 1 or 2 issues on the day, dropping him down to 4th place eventually. Looking good in the morning session for Bu Levy. 1 or 2 issues out there on the course, dropping him down from the top 2 positions, but Bu Levy definitely putting together a solid championship on the Moto Klerksdorp Racing Honda. Dion de Toy, amazing ride, a former pro championship winning rider from many seasons back on the GXCCs and the GOCs. Dion de Toy rolling out a YZ250 smoker, 2nd place and the closest man to the eventual race winner, Jean Vilken. Jean and his pit crew doing well to hold the old Honda together, riding out at Bikers Warehouse, and Vilken just allowed the race to come to him. Approached the entire day with a very mature head and got the win once again. That's 1 for 1 for Vilken. In the high school 125s, which saw the biggest pro gate in the afternoon session, Dylan Besaidenote good enough to get himself up there into a number 8 ride, with Letsapi getting it done to a number 7. 3 laps under the belt for those guys. For Linux Yamaha on the Blue Crew squad, they brought home a lot of bacon, did that team at this round of the championship. Peter Collin, standout ride for him on a number 6. For many of these high school 125s, first time out in a mud race. Jean-Andre Vermark, he's been putting together a nice solid championship this season. He remains inside the top 5 once again. Oke Henop, a new name that we're going to start mentioning more and more. Definitely a rider comfortable in these conditions on the turfland. And Oke Henop gets his highest ever GXCC finish with 4th place. For the Megs Racing squad, and looked after by the Shimwells Yamaha boys, Drickus van der Merwe brings home his machine into 3rd place. He's trying to chase down a top finish. Hasn't quite tasted it yet, but it's getting closer. Himself and Murray Smith were all over each other in the early laps. Drickus just having issues on the final lap. Round 1 was an absolute sublime start for Tyler Pedersen. This time around, he'll have to settle for second place, but should still be leading the championship going forward into round number 3. But it was the former 85cc Pro Championship winner, a couple of seasons figuring out the 125, coming back from injuries, and Murray Smith, takes the top step at Bapsfontein.
Murray, man, I chatted to you this morning. You were pumped. You had the eye of the tiger. You figured this one out.
Yeah, I didn't really start off too great. I didn't get a great start. My lever broke off, but hey, I pushed through the first lap. We changed the lever, and yeah, I just fought through the mud, did the best I could, and yeah, I came out on the win.
Were you worried about the bike at all? Because you could see a lot of failures out there.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people on the side of the track. It's just unfortunate. It's just the way it goes. Sometimes you're lucky and sometimes you're not. You get stuck and you don't.
Sean, another win, but you didn't make it easy for yourself that time, eh?
I didn't. On the first lap, I went over the bars in the water. The goggles came off. So for about 20-25 k's on the first lap, no goggles. It was fun. I made it hard for myself, like you said.
Did you make all those passes on lap 2?
Yeah, I caught all of them on lap 2. And just kept the pace. I was running lap 2 and held it through the race.
On that last lap, on your refuel, man, the Honda didn't sound good, dude.
Yeah, I think they spilled a bit and they went out to the filter. I revved it out and it was fine the rest of the lap.
Tell me about the championship. 2 for 2 now. The Oaks have to come and find you.
Yeah. Well, it's motorsport. Anything could happen, you know. Some we win, some we lose, but we'll see how it goes.
Kochi, of all the races, man, oh man.
Geez, like Matt, I don't actually even know what to say. I'm going to walk through this pit. I have to find someone who has got a widgie of me that they're busy putting needles into, because I don't know. I mean, going through the front door right at the start, Mace really just put pay to it, and then ended up with a stupid electrical problem again. Anyway, fixed that. Track was amazing. I must say, Bjorn's really did well. Unfortunately, it was this wet, but when you said wet, I didn't think it was going to be that wet, but it was incredible. So yeah, I mean, it was just really good. Vienna Miranda, GXCC again, they really stepped out. It was fantastic, awesome fun. I mean, most amount of fun getting this wet, and yeah, look, it was brilliant. So well done to them. Thanks to Zach and the Schummels guys, all those from Yamaha, Tyler, Sean. It's been a great day. They've had to work harder than me today. But yeah, been brilliant. At least we're back in one piece.
As Peter, you know this area very well, so you knew coming in what was going to be in front of you guys.
Yeah, no, I actually phoned Bjorn on Wednesday and I said, listen, my thoughts are with you. And after I marshalled on the junior route this morning, I knew it's going to be tough. And the mud just works you all the time. I don't have to tell you that I don't want to pick this bike up one more time today.
And the flow of the track. I mean, I love this area. To be honest, if it wasn't muddy, man, this would have been a fast one, hey?
Yeah, it would have been really a nice track, and some of the areas are really nice. It's a very nice track. It's just a pity for the lowlands, the flood areas. It made it difficult, and I saw a lot of guys got stuck, which is not nice when you're racing. You feel it's unfair.
But let's put a positive light on it. It's 2 rounds into the championship and things are looking good.
Yeah, no, I'm happy with the result so far. The guys are on point here at Bapsfontein Plastic, and Ian is really doing what he needs to do to get us safe home and in front on podium. So yeah, I'm very glad for him for giving all of us the opportunity and coming out here, and Bjorn put this track together. I enjoyed it. It was tough to the end. The last round was tough, but I did enjoy it, and yeah, I'll be back again.
Let's check out confirmation of our age group category races. Standout ride for Murray Smith, finding his mojo once again in the high schools, beating out on championship points leader Pedersen, Van der Merwe, Hennep, for Mark, Colleen, Letsapo, and Bapsfontein. Senior pros. Great to see the story of a comeback ride for Jean Wilking, approaching this championship very maturely ahead of Dion de Toy, Bu Levy, Carl de Toy, and Nicholas Morgan, with Barry Smith just off the top places. In the Masters, Peter Hall is the dominant force at the moment, once again taking the big cower to the top step ahead of Rousseau, Van Skalkwyk, Sieber, and Francois Swanepoel, with Bert Smith joining the party in 6th place. For the veterans category, Jeremy Smith, 1 or 2 small mistakes, but he definitely developed through the race to hammer the nail on Brandlin, Bessinger, Poole, Nell and Fourie. What's next? Well, we've got to climb the ladder all the way to the top steps, going into our pro category riders that laid down the hottest laps of the afternoon session. Alex Krobler, after a couple of seasons racing in the 125s, starting to develop as a pro racer in the OR3s, one of his standout rides, giving him a number 8 finish. Tyron Beverly, he was up there racing in the top 3 until terminal brake issues forced him to the sideline. That's going to hurt his championship challenge. He'll be hoping this can be his one and only throwaway. Same situation for Derek Karam. On lap number 3, went down hard and had to retire from the event, eventually tagging enough laps though to get a number 6 finish. That meant we saw a couple of different riders climbing their way inside the top 5. Loan LaRue, one of our 85 pros, then a couple of seasons on 125s. Now he makes the big move up into the 250 4-strokes. This is his best ride to date, taking a number 5 finish. Esteban Kutzer, one of our great riders coming out of the Pro-Am categories, developing with the GXCCs and learning as he goes along. 4th place will give him his best ever pro finish. Bryce Pedersen also starts to bring home the bacon now to put his name up there with the top 3 runners in the championship. The Everest Yamaha racing rider, 3rd place, will certainly cheer him up going forward into the rest of the season. Cam Becker, 1 or 2 big crashes while he was swinging off the back, and he recovered himself. The Pepsi Plastics Kawasaki man who's trying to nail down the championship. 2nd place for him. But it was Kurbis Bester who was literally on fire, riding this track like it was dry as a bone, taking the win in the OR3 Pros and the overall, showing the class of his riding at the moment. In the OR2 Pros, Bennu Stradum, in his first full season on the Pro Gate, had some problems on lap number 3 and decided to retire the big machine, dropping down to a number 8. Devon Wolfart stayed in the show to see the checkers, but 3 laps, dropping him down to 7th place finish come the end of the day. The track and the mud bogs started to blow up later on in the afternoon, but the track held well enough together for us to see the checkers. Stoffelberger, love to see another rider coming out of the Pro-Am gates and understanding how to get the best out of himself and his machine on the pro lineups. He took a number 6 ride. C.D. Gerson, amazing ride for him to get himself up there into a number 5. Himself and Vernon Nordia were banging bars in the early stages, and Gerson, after a 10th place finish at round number 1, improves to a number 5 at this round. Peter Karam also had to bow out early, only getting 3 laps under his belt on the UB Leisure Racing KTM, but definitely looks like he may be able to survive that one and still throw together a good championship. Vernon Nordia Vedis on the Vans Racing Husqvarna, an incredible ride, will have surprised himself as well in his comeback season after back surgery last year to take a 3rd spot. And then Xander King, the standout story of the day on the OR2 Pro categories, riding out of Linux Yamaha on the Blue Crew 250. Also moving up from Pro-Ams this year, his first and highest finish in the pros, giving him 2nd place. But Matty Wilson was a dominant force on the OR2 category as he was at round number 1. He eventually walked away with 2nd place in the overalls and an emphatic win in category, taking another win in the OR2 Pro category. OR1 Pros, the big bangers, Devon Smith. We've been waiting to see the comeback of the Devastator, and he didn't disappoint. First time out on a freshie 450 Vans Racing Husqvarna, and he brought it home to a number 8 ride. Brendan Kutzer stayed on the lead lap, but it's such a hard gate to break into that top 6. Kutzer will have been disappointed with a 7th place, but still ran extremely close numbers. JC Nienaber knows how to ride in these conditions, has had some of his best rides in the mud, but this time around the pace was just too strong for the Pepsi Plastics Pro to take the Kawasaki inside the top 5. 5th place this time around went to Eric Merry, who's starting to understand how to get the best out of himself and the factory Husqvarna out of Bikers Warehouse. Vian Wenzel, the rock star, he took Kawasaki to their highest finish of the day in the pro categories for the OR1s, taking a number 4 spot, with John Buerta also now understanding his 450 machine. Johnny B looked absolutely solid on his machine riding out of Bikers Warehouse, taking it to a number 3 spot. 3.5 minutes up the road from him, and a story to talk about. Matty Milan crashing on lap number 1. The team changed out his handlebars on lap number 2. He dropped down to 5th place and recovered to 2nd. A standout ride for Milan. But it was a perfect day for Scotty H. Even though he says the bike was sounding a little bit ill towards the end of the day, he still got the job done. That's 2 wins on the bounce for Scotty H and KTM. But Milan is definitely coming on. Let's chat to the pros after the race.
Scotty, that was a heck of a day, man. I mean, you held it together, you had clear air for a while, but yeah, on the timing sheets, the little bikes found you.
Yeah, no, definitely. I put down a few good laps initially, and then ended up the radiator and the bike started spluttering a little bit, and yeah, I danced and damaged the radiator, which is, yeah, I think it's from my crash. I had a little crash out there, but ultimately we nursed the bike to the end. Hopefully it's still okay, but yeah, so's to Uncle Kev for that and the whole team. You know, it wasn't my intention, but yeah, it's racing, and yeah, but ultimately it's cool that Kobus got the overall today. I think the track was very demanding, and it was a little bit of a little bike track in some sense, but yeah, it was really cool. It's a bit different to ride in the mud, and yeah, had an awesome day out. Thanks to the whole Brother Leader Trade KTM team, to Uncle Kev for bringing me out, and just hope everyone had a good day.
Comfortable now, 2 for 2 in the championship. You're running off the front, and now, well, just heading to the nationals, eh?
Yeah, no, we're going to try and keep our head down and keep our nose clean and just keep ticking on, keep testing, keep improving. Obviously, there's still a lot of work to be done and improvement to be made. So ultimately, from weekend to weekend, we'll just try to keep getting better and better and see where we end up at the end of the season. What really matters is the championship at the end of the year. So yeah, if we can keep races ticking on like this, it'll be really cool.
Johnny B, climbing the ladder nicely now.
Yeah, good day out. Didn't think it was going to be this bad, the mud. But happy to finish. Didn't get hurt, so I'm happy about that. And yeah, on to the next one.
Look after the bike?
Excuse me?
Did you look after the bike, or is she...
But it was going bub 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 there at the end, so it didn't sound too healthy. So yeah, maybe gonna have to check the engine out, but yeah, that's fine.
Matty, you got a lot of experience on a lot of tracks in a lot of conditions. Try and sum up today.
Yeah, I know. I will definitely say I underestimated today. I didn't think it was going to be so muddy and so wet out there. I definitely need a jet ski instead of a motorbike today. But no, it was good fun, eh? First lap, I had a good go at it. I crashed on the first lap, so he got by me, and also good. The roost was bad today. But I take back what I said about this morning about the 250s. Kobus here absolutely smoked us.
It was an amazing day. I mean, you must have passed so many dudes. Tell me about that bog at the back.
No, there were bikes everywhere. It looked like a graveyard of bikes at one point. The mud was insane, but no, it's still good fun. Had to choose your lines wisely.
Kobus, I know your ears are ringing because you've been on the pipe all day, but this has to be the ride of your life.
Yeah, it's just, I enjoyed this track so much and just kept it wide open the whole way. Just sad my dad had to go a bit earlier. Would have loved it to be here with him now. So it's a very nice feeling.
Overall at a GXCC and a win in the 250s against some huge bangers. I mean, what a story, hey?
Yeah, no, this is a whole different feeling. I thought I was just going to take the over 3 class, but took overall, so I'm very pumped about that. And just a big thank you to my dad, my mom, Cycleworks Suspension, and my brother for all the help in the pits.
Cameroon, I don't know if you can hear me, your ears must be absolutely ringing with these 250s on a fast track like this.
Yeah, no, Matt, it was a really tough one, I think, for the bikes as well. I had a right start, and then Kobus was absolutely flying. I passed him on the second lap, and then I just got dragged in by the mud on one straight, and he passed me, and I just kept it second. I didn't want to take any risks. I had 2 big offs, so hopefully didn't get injured too much, but just glad this muddy race is over.
Tired bikes and bodies in the pros giving us some amazing results. Scotty H goes and takes another win, but Milan, even with that bar swap, was dangerously close. Johnny B in the 3-spot, Wenzel, Mary and Nienaber in the OR2 Pro gate. Matty Wilson also goes 2 on the bounce to run off the front in the championship. Standout ride for Xander King, taking his highest ever pro finish ahead of Nordia, Karam and Huersen with a solid number 5. In the OR3 pros, Kobus Bester taking the pro win in the OR3s as well as the overall. Amazing ride to beat out Becker, Pedersen, Kutzer and LaRue. That was Bapsfontein, a race that will be remembered for many years to come. And the second round of the championship is done and, I was going to say dusted, but mudded. We look forward to round number 3 as we go forward into the racing month of April. We'll watch for the press to tell you where we're going to go to drop the hammer once again. All this GXCC racing action is proudly brought to you by VW Mastercars Hatfield in association with Vans Racing. So now we're getting ourselves ready to go forward into the racing month of April. So we're still waiting for Vian to tell us exactly where we are going on the GXCC tour. That's right at the end of the racing month of April. The weekend before that is going to be FJ. We know where we're going. It's going to be Buxies. So that's where we finished off the championship for the last 2 seasons. So the boys know exactly how to get the best out of that venue and that terrain. Hollywood, this last weekend, I was down in Maritzburg. It was Super Enduro Cross down there in Golden Horse in Maritzburg, and that's round 2 of the series. Like I said, 2025 is the rebirth of Super Enduro, so we're very excited as we go around the country chasing all of the crowds at the casinos and bringing the racing to the people. And then this coming weekend, it's going to be the opening round, the delayed opening round because of weather of the South African Cross Country Racing Championship. Lawrence and Marilyn back at the helm running the big tour. Super excited. Get those last minute entries in, guys, and we'll see you on the line. Probably still going to be a little bit moist out there, but I am guaranteed we are going to be on the line and going racing. It's going to be a tight championship. Hang tough, guys, as we close out on the racing month of March. And then April, we're swinging off the back once again as we get ready to go into tough enduros. It's going to be FJs. It's going to be GXCCs. It's going to be a busy one in April. Hang in there.